Hey, Sissy. Say hello to everybody on YouTube. And that is Sissy. She's my aunt's dog, and well, when your aunt asks you to let her dog out, because she and her husband are not going to be home, well, what's enough for you to do but listen to his aunt. Well, I just spent the last few hours with my brother. It's nice to see him, you know. We don't spend a whole lot of time together, you know. Never really did, you know. I hope I didn't catch that. Little Sissy's over here. You know. Got a nice cluster of buds right there. You know. And well, well, my brother did bring up an interesting question, an interesting situation that does have some basis in fact. He's like, yeah, what if your plants hybridize and create something that does not taste good? You know, and let's be honest, that is indeed a possibility. You know? Okay. Yeah. Letting Sissy back inside to her home. You know? Hopefully that's all she'll need. Well, bit of a contrast. This morning it was raining, and now I got snow. You know, nothing else sticking around. Hey, I got fruit buds on most everything. Although some of the fruit buds are barely worth mentioning, but you know, others, you know, I see myself having a nice little crop. I mean, it's not going to be anything super spectacular, you know. But at least with some of these plants, I'm expecting a nice little crop, you know. The kind you want to see when your plants are just starting out. I mean, these plants right here, these 5 right here, the blue crop, Elliot, and Duke, which were part of a 3-in-1 set, which turned out to be 5 plants in one pot. Well, they did have berries when I first saw them, although at the time I wasn't interested in blueberries much. You know, eventually I got it, and you know, well, I should see at least a nice crop next year. You know, well, this coming summer, and this one, well, I mean, look, a whole bunch of fruit buds, you know. I mean, you know, well, like I was saying, my brother, he had an interesting concern a legitimate concern, actually. What if my plants, their seeds, you know, cross-pollinate and hybridize? You know, I got all these varieties, I spent all this money, and the whole cross-pollinate, and the seeds give rise to something terrible. You know, it tastes awful. And that is a legitimate concern, you know. But usually what you'd end up getting is probably something that's, well, you know, okay to throw in a jam, you know. I mean, just a twig. I mean, that is concerned, but when you think about it, that is how some of these varieties came out. It was because of these crossbreeding programs of different varieties. I mean, I got, like, for instance, with my grapes, I got Concord, I got Niagara, I got Mars, and those all came from the Concords, you know, and amongst, you know, different little sports and whatnot, mutations, crossbreeds, and then the Catawba, again, same species. I mean, you know, I ain't too worried about hybrids, you know. Not too worried, anyways. In fact, I kind of welcome them if they make it. And well, let me see if this is slightly better. What has them vines? Still not 100% certain what this vine is. Other than the fact that it's a vine. I don't think it's poisonous, but you know, when you don't know, you don't know. Well, it looks like the wind kind of blew away some of the bedding here. I mean, what do you think about it? Like I said, you got different varieties that came up because of hybrids. I mean, the fall colds, they're due to a recessive gene, probably from the heritage, which in itself carries a recessive gene, you know, for the whole, for being a primocane variety, you know. Like with this one right here, this is the heritage. It is the ancestor of the Polana, which is a heritage cross with some other variety, and you got the Bristol, which is the parent of the Jewel right here. So I'm not too worried about crossbreeds. I mean, and like I said, you got the Loganberries, which are a cross between blackberry and red raspberry, and then you got the purple varieties, which are a cross between the reds and the blacks. You know, the red raspberries and the black raspberries, and all that sort of stuff. I'm not too overly worried about hybrids. In fact, a hybrid is actually a good thing, you know, if it produces, I mean, if it tastes good, produces a good crop, if it produces a good fruit, you know, I ain't gonna complain too much if I get a hybrid that's actually a good quality hybrid. You know? I won't complain too much if I get a good quality hybrid. But even so, that likelihood of me getting a hybrid, I mean, one, they would, like I said, I mean, they would have to pollinate. You know, the bees would have to go from the one to the other. You know, there's that. Two, the seeds would have to germinate, you know, and give rise to that plant and all that other stuff, you know. I mean, so I'm not saying that the odds are terrible. I mean, I'm not saying that the odds are all... The odds are... I wouldn't say that they're all that great. I mean, yes, there is the possibility that I could have a hybrid. And I ain't gonna complain if it produces good fruit, although my brother's like, well, I hope you get good fruit. You know? But I ain't gonna complain too much. I mean, usually with raspberries and blackberries, you get good fruit. You know. So, I'm not too worried about getting a hybrid. Well, and then, I mean, then you got your Josta berries. I mean, those are a cross between the gooseberry and a black currant. I mean, I've never had a Josta berry. I'll have to, I mean, if I can find some, maybe I'll try some, you know. But until that happens, what I got is what I got, you know. Who knows? Maybe I'll get some Josta berries one of these days. But until then, well, you know, well, it's getting cold, and I might want to get back inside, you know. Well, this is Western New York. Subscribe if you like this, comment, click the little bell and all that other good stuff. Okay, goodbye.